Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for CareerRise's Industry Partnerships Monthly Webinar. We have a jam-packed agenda today, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Glad to have you today on Wednesday, August 27th. A little bit of a change in our scheduling, so we appreciate you being flexible with us instead of being on the third Thursday, joining us for the last Wednesday. We would love to have you use the chat feature in the toolbar to introduce yourself. Let us know your name, what organization you're with, and if you're in the state of Georgia, what part of the state you're from, or if you're outside Georgia, let us know where you're from. We love it when we have those outside our community joining us. And we also encourage you to use reactions to engage with and encourage our speakers. So if you look at the bottom of your screen on the Zoom window, you'll see a little icon that looks like a heart. You can use that and a little up arrow there to select a reaction if you like something you hear, or I'm sorry, if you like something you hear or wanted to react to it. Of course, there's clap hands, thumbs up, hearts, crying faces, anything you like. We want to make this a little bit more lively and give some good energy to our speakers today. All right, today's agenda. We'll go through, we will introduce CareerRise in case you are new to our webinar series, just give you a little bit about who we are and what we do. We'll have a worksource welcome this morning. We will then hear from our friends at the Georgia Commute Options team to hear about what Georgia Commute Options does and some updates from them and our partnership. And then we'll have a case study of a local employer who has used Georgia Commute Options to support their employees. After our speakers wrap up, we'll have time for Q&A, and you can enter those questions in the chat, or you can use the raise hand function on your screen to raise your hand and let us know that you want to ask a question. Then we'll have some CareerRise updates and wrap up. We'll get you out of here by 12 o'clock. So in case you are new to the CareerRise Industry Partnerships webinar series, welcome. We love having you here and appreciate you spending your morning with us. In case you're unfamiliar with us, CareerRise is a nonprofit organization based here in the Atlanta metro area, and our mission is to expand access to opportunities and resources that promote economic mobility, support skilled workers, champion good jobs, and strengthen communities. And our vision is that we can help lead this region and beyond in convening job seekers, employers, community resources, and fostering workforce opportunities that help individuals succeed, strengthen businesses, and drive economic mobility for resilient communities. And a little bit about the industry partnerships team that hosts this webinar. I like to say we are your friends in workforce development. We like to make workforce development easier for employers and those who support them. How we do it is by educating about and helping our partners navigate through the workforce development ecosystem. We help create alignment and drive toward common goals, and we build capacity for employers and make it easy for them to engage in workforce development initiatives by providing support through low-risk programming. Part of the educating about bullet there is providing innovative, practical ideas, tools, and resources to empower employers through our webinar series. And you can see our 5 sort of strategic focus areas where we see needs across all businesses of all sizes, of all industries. Everyone needs to hire, everyone needs to train, everyone has employees who need support, everyone wants to have good jobs, and we want to make our future workforce aware of opportunities in these high demand industries. So we focus on all of those things and help create a full circle ecosystem where everyone succeeds. And now it is my pleasure and privilege to introduce Mr. Rob LeBeau to provide our worksource welcome. Take it away, Rob.
All right, thank you, Nate. Good morning, everybody, and I apologize for not being on camera and the road noise, but I am in the car in between meetings. But I definitely wanted to get on and say a few words of welcome for everybody. So on behalf of the 5 local workforce development boards in Metro Atlanta, I'm pleased to welcome you all to this
Rob?
Oh,
Rob?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Are you sure you can't get on camera?
Yeah.
Why don't you pull over?
Hold. You want me on camera?
Why
Hold
don't
on.
you,
Let me see if I can get on
hey,
camera.
Roddy.
Hey,
Um,
everybody.
so, Rob, we interrupt this
Yes.
webinar
We.
with
Okay.
a very special occasion here. Um, Uh-huh, right. You know what's coming. For those of you who are attending the webinar thinking that you're going to hear the content, which you will, that's how we pay the bills, right? You will, but we decided to take a point of personal privilege. Cherie Blight had the wonderful idea of using this as an opportunity to wish Rob well on his impending retirement. And so we decided to, again, got people involved and it got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So Rob, we have people from all over the state here
Ah.
that are
Okay.
here to wish you well. And how this is going to go, y'all. We're still in the webinar format for Zoom, so it's not going to be an open forum. But please feel free to use the reactions which you're doing and the party hats and the hearts and all the love that's coming your way, Rob. But use the comments. We're going to print everything here. We're recording this for Rob for that he can, in his retirement, play again and again and again, over and over again, as he's traveling the world. And then we have a special thing that we're going to do. If you see the QR code on the slide that's presented right now, take a picture of that, and then that takes you to an opportunity to say one word, maybe a little phrase, but really we're trying to do a word cloud concept here for Rob that we'll have printed up and make something nice for him to hang on his wall, at the beach or wherever they end up, right? So Rob, we at CareerRise really think a lot of you. We really appreciate all the contributions you've made. And we thought we would just take a moment and pause and you reflect on your time with us and your time at ARC. Um, Rob, when he came, it wasn't really the smoothest of sailing because many of you know Mary Margaret Garrett, right? Mary Margaret, she's an icon, very smart. She knows all the things. She's probably the single most important influence on workforce development in Georgia, and had been with ARC for many years. And then when Mary Margaret decided to retire, and then internally they made decisions about having Rob come over from what we really didn't understand his function. We really thought we were getting the travel agent for ARC that was in charge of workforce development because at that point he was taking care of the link trips. Now we have a better understanding and have a greater appreciation for the link trips. But it was really funny that who is this guy that's coming up and taking Mary Margaret's place? Um, and then we found out very quickly what kind of guy he was. Um, and I'd like to say that was really great at the beginning, but the fact that he stole almost immediately three of my staff from Cobb at the time really spoke volumes about who Rob LeBeau is and was. I'm really kidding. Rob, we have so enjoyed the time with you. We think so well of you. They're really, really, really going to miss Betsy more than anybody. And
That's
for those
fair.
of you who
That's
don't
fair,
know,
John. Yeah.
Betsy is Rob's wife, and because of the nature of her job as a school psychologist, she's been able to tag along to probably 95% of the trips that we've taken for SETA and for state workforce meetings and all the things through the years. So Betsy is on today, Rob. So Betsy's joined us. And Betsy, would you like to say anything to the group here?
Good morning. Hi. I'm excited to be able to join you all on yet another workforce mission here for one last round. Um, I'm really proud of Rob and super excited about upcoming retirement plans, but I'm also very mixed feelings because I've gotten to know and meet so many of y'all through Rob, and it's been fantastic. You all do great work and you're great people, and I've loved having the opportunity to meet everybody. So I appreciate you letting me be part of this.
Absolutely. We love you, Betsy. Um, and we have the person who's responsible, Rob, for you having assumed the position in workforce development. So Doug Hooker, if you're on the line and you could pop on real quick.
John, thank you for this
Hey, Doug.
opportunity. Hello, Betsy. It's been a long time since I've seen you. Hello, and congratulations, Rob. So, very quickly to everyone, as John said, when Mary Margaret retired, Rob was leading our government administrative services team. and that included organizing the link trips, and we had done an excellent job with that. And as much as I hated disrupting that, I just felt that he would be the best person to take over this role. And when I asked him to go out to lunch, um, and I asked him, I said, Rob, I'd really like you to consider taking over Mary Margaret Garrett's place and become the leader of the workforce development team. Betsy, he was actually speechless for a few seconds, and he looked at me and he said, well, that's not what I thought we were going to talk about. And he was really surprised. And I told him I knew he had a strong network of relationships. He had a lot of respect. I saw his leadership style over the government administrative services team, and I felt that would be really helpful for the workforce development team. And I felt he had the chops to be an excellent leader and make that team even better than it was. And of course, he has proven that. You all know that even better than I do. And not only became an effective leader for the workforce development team, but also became effective leader for ARC in general and for the whole workforce development ecosystem in the state of Georgia. And so I just want to say congratulations on your retirement. Thank you once again for taking that leadership role when you didn't have to. And I appreciate everything you've done for ARC and for the people in this region and this state. So best wishes with your retirement.
Doug, thank you so much for making the time to join us. And we miss you and think the world of you. And it's not like you've really retired. You take the RETIR, all the letters out of retirement, and just keep on going. So between you and Patrice, thank you for continuing to make the Atlanta region what it is. Thank you. We appreciate you. I see a note here that have we resolved the mentee issue? I saw one comment, I think, come up that said that it was an error. They were getting an error message. Sheree, you got that taken care of? Okay.
Yes, I'm getting responses, so it should be working.
Yeah, try if it didn't work for you the first time, try again, because we really are looking forward. And as we wrap up our part here, we're going to actually do a mini reveal to see what it looks like. Rob, my word for you is, and probably will always be, Sparkle Bomb. And so if you know, you know. And for those who have frequented the study conference in Savannah, that should mean something to you. Rob would go around. We did jazz hands and Sparkle Bomb for like the next 6 weeks after we had the occasion to discover Sparkle Bombs in Savannah. So we're going to keep this brief. And again, everyone, please use the comments section, the chat section, to be able to write anything that you'd like Rob to know. I'm sorry that we can't have everyone speak today, but of course, we got to have a webinar. And thank you to our panelists for participating and for extending this courtesy to us. Oh, Lord, a sprinkler emergency. All these good memories coming up in 1 and 2 words. Yeah, thank you, panelists, for allowing us the opportunity to acknowledge our colleague, and we thank you for the information that you're going to impart today as well. So continue to put the chat comments in. Sheree, you said you were going to keep the link active to the word cloud until Friday. Did I remember correctly?
Yes, I can do it till Friday.
Okay, and if that was incorrect, you just correct me.
It's fine. Friday's fine.
So if you can't think of the right perfect word, I'm sure there's some beer in there that describes Rob, but there are probably some very nice things as well. So take your time, and you'll have the Friday to do that. We have prepared kind of just a recap: 30 years in public administration, regional planning, and economic development, 15 years managing community development and regional planning at ARC. And then, of course, having led the workforce division since 2015, right, Rob? Time flies, man. 10 years. And by the way, I did speak to Mary Margaret this morning. We were texting back and forth, and she sends you all good wishes and thanks you for doing such a good job taking her seat when she left. And this guy, I have no idea who he is. This picture has to predate, Rob, you can't see it probably, but it's a very, very young version of you that I've never seen before myself. So you'll get the copy of this as well to see where we lifted those from, and we appreciate Lisa for helping us with that too. Some of the notable things about his tenure is Rob has, from the beginning, quite frankly, he has really seen the regionalism of workforce development. We often say, workforce development being a function of economic development, whereas economic development is really around those political jurisdictions. Workforce development is, undeniably a regional construct. And so Rob's always seen that and has been supportive of that, to include really extending resources that were available to him and to ARC to the entire region. And one of those is atlworks.org, our work that we did with 5 workforce boards to create a single point of intake and a single application, hopefully streamlined a lot of processes, and came up with a single website to direct people to that were looking for help and assistance. And then things like the incumbent worker program expansion with Stratus, some really notable examples of how you really jumped in there and started understanding workforce development pretty quickly once you got your feet wet, right? Sheree, I don't know if we have any more blurbs here. Yeah, the incumbent worker training program as well. But Rob, on a personal note, let me just say, I think you're one of the good guys, and I've appreciated not only our professional relationship and being a colleague with you, but we've had some fun times as well. And I was trying to queue up my iPhone to play Friends in Low Places, but it wouldn't quite cooperate with me. But I'm assuming Keith Dixon is on the line with us today, and he knows that exactly as well. So we're going to miss you very much. And folks, keep making putting your comments in the chat. We'll collect these and package this up for you, Ron. Did you want to finish saying anything, or were you?
Yeah,
have you done your introduction?
I did pull over, so I have been seeing all the comments. And John, this is wonderful. Thank you for you and your team and everybody for pulling this together. It's bittersweet. I love y'all. You've been so supportive, but I'm also looking forward to retirement and traveling more. Doug, we're gonna follow your lead. Betsy and I are traveling for the next 4 months, and it includes a week or so in a camper van. So we're looking forward to just getting out and really seeing the world over the next 4.5 months. But a couple things. One, I appreciate all the efforts to do this and the comments and the love I'm seeing. It is fantastic. It's wonderful. Doug, I want to thank you for taking the leap and the trust that you put in me to take over from somebody who'd been there for 30 years and had a good program going. And hopefully I've was entrusted and have continued on the great success we've had with this. And it was certainly helpful to have the support that you and at the time our chairman Carrie Armstrong, the trust that you put in me and give me the backing to move forward and make some mistakes, but overall move forward in a really positive direction. And of course, Betsy, it's great to see you on here. You've been a part of this workforce adventure the entire time, and have joined in and seen what we do and how we do it. And you saw at some of the low points at some of the beginning, me struggling to make it through, but also the high points of the great successes we've had. So you've been my partner and my rock for since we met back in 1989. So thank you for, of course, for being on here and sharing this. And to everybody else on here, the workforce community it's a family. And I came in, I knew public administration, I knew policy, I knew the region. I didn't know workforce. And I know there were some questions when I first came in, but I think you saw where my heart was and embraced me. And that's all I could ask for. It's been fantastic. It's been wonderful. And I look forward to keeping in touch with you as we go off on our travels. So thanks again for being here and sharing your love with me. And I will turn it back over to Nate and CareerRise. I will say CareerRise has been such a great partner and a partnership with Workforce Metro Atlanta. And it's a great picture there. And I know this partnership will continue. And it's a fitting end with the topic today, Georgia Commute Options, which is also comes out of ARC, and ARC has been a great place to work for the last 25 years. So I'm gonna turn it back over to you, and I look forward to seeing the rest of the comments and the recording when I get a chance to see everything else. Thank you, John.
Rob,
thank you, everybody else.
Welcome. Rob, obviously this is why Brett wouldn't take this responsibility from you.
I tried
the 3 times that you tried to get him to take it this morning. I hear you. So.
I tried to pass it off this morning. I'm like, come on, Brett, you can do this. And he's like, no, you need to get on.
Yeah,
so here I am.
It's been a team effort to get you here. So
well, thank you all. Thank you very much.
And thank you from across the state, all of our colleagues and partners and friends. You're welcome to stay on for the webinar. It's going to be fantastic. And again, to our panelists, thank you for your patience and for allowing us to do this, and have a great webinar. And we'll have you back for a full one soon too. Thank you, Nate or Cherie.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Rob. You are my sort of retirement muse. So I'm glad that Susie dropped the LeBeau on the Go blog link in the chat. I'm going to be keeping an eye on that. Very grateful for Rob and all of his service to the community and to CareerRise over the years. So next, I would like to introduce Nicole Carsten and Shayla Cato from Georgia. I'm sorry, Nicole's with Arcadis and Shayla is with Georgia Commute Options. Ladies, take it away.
Sure. That is definitely a tough act to follow. So for all those that are still hanging on, thanks for joining us this morning. As Nate said, I am Nicole Carsten. I am with Arcadis. I'm a communications manager and workforce development consultant. However, in my role today, I am supporting Georgia Commute Options. And alongside me today, as he mentioned, is Shayla Cato. Shayla.
Hey everyone. Again, I'm Shayla. I represent Georgia Commute Options. I'm a worksite advisor in the Southwest Territory. And I'm also employed by Arcadis. So Nicole and I are very familiar with each other, and we work alongside each other on a number of other occasions. I'm happy to be here to answer any questions about Georgia Commute Options, and I hope you guys find something valuable from this presentation today.
Okay, so before we jump in, we want to learn a little bit about you and your commute. So Shayla, what's our first question?
All right, so we have the first poll popping up here asking, how big of a role does your commute play in deciding where you work? Examples, your ability to work from home, telework, or the length of the commute you take, the location to transit, those kinds of things. Like, how important is your commute to and from work when you decide where you're going to work?
So you don't have to think too hard about it. Just one of these three options, whether you've been in your role for 20 years or 6 months. When you took that role, or even day to day, when you're on your commute, do you think, oh, I need another option, or it doesn't matter at all? Maybe you love being in your car. Maybe you love teleworking. So what role does it play? And Sherry, do we have options to see what some of the results are? Oh, okay. I'm kind of shocked that it's that high. I would probably agree myself. It is very important. For me, it definitely has made a decision. It's been a part of the major decision and all the decisions with where I've moved. So that's really interesting. So most people, it is really important. So it's something to think about as we talk about GCO and the things that we share about within workforce. For some folks, it's a deciding factor because they have no other choice. Whereas maybe for most of us, the deciding factor is we don't want to sit in a car for an hour, or we really like the flexibility of working from home. But considering the fact that also some people, their commute impacts where they actually can work. Okay, so we're going to share a little bit about Georgia Commute Options. And I'm going to try and go as quickly as possible so we have time for questions at the end. As an overview, Georgia Commute Options is a program of Georgia DOT. It is run by the Atlanta Regional Commission, kind of as Rob stated earlier. And the focus is really reducing traffic congestion and improving air quality throughout Metro Atlanta. You can see the map here shows the 20-county region that GCO services. And they do that by working with employers, commuters, and schools. Thanks, Sherry, for reducing the number of solo drivers. And they do that by providing free services to motivate and incentivize individuals for taking cleaner work commute options. And then the next slide. So what constitutes a clean commute? Within Georgia Commute Options programming, that constitutes walking, biking, taking public transit, carpooling or van pooling, and teleworking, or a mix-up. So maybe you walk part of the way, then you take transit, and then you walk the rest. Any combination constitutes a clean commute. Okay, so regional overview of what we know. We talked a little bit about GCO, so now let's talk about what we know about our region. So in the next, do we have another poll there? I feel like we had another poll. Yes. Okay, Shayla, what do we have now? Well, we may have lost Shayla. So the next poll is, what is the biggest challenge you face with your current work commute? Is it the traffic congestion that you're sitting in to and from work? Is it the limited public transit options? So you would take transit, however, you just don't have access to it. The parking costs, if you're having to drive into town and you're paying a fortune to park, is that a major factor? Isn't the distance of your commute? Maybe your commute is a 2-hour drive. Or the lack of flexibility with work hours. So flexing maybe when you start work or end. So we'll give a minute or two, and we can see where folks land on this one.
Sorry, Nicole, I was muted. I was talking, didn't realize I was muted.
No,
Pesky mute button. All right.
All right, Sherry, what do we have? Do we have some responses? Okay, it's a mix. It's a little bit of a mix. It looks like distance of commute, traffic congestion, and then also limited public transit options. We're in Atlanta, and kind of what we're going to talk about is, we know the congestion. We also are going to talk about where we know transit options are. So all of those kind of fall with what we sort of expect. So within the city of Atlanta, the Atlanta region, we know it's booming. Over the next 30 years, we will grow to 7.9 million people. So that's like taking the entire metropolitan Indianapolis and placing it into the city of Atlanta. That's a lot of people. And the demand for mobility options is only going to increase the more people that we bring into our region. So the map on the right, I was just going to highlight the map on the right in that last slide, the one before. Yeah. So that highlights the rate of growth. So that represents the darker areas, or where the darker shades. So that darker green color is where we expect the most growth. And as you can tell, that's outside of the metro region, which makes it more challenging for transportation options. Okay, we can go to the next one. Okay, so in 2023, Atlanta Regional Commission updated their Transportation Demand Management Plan, or TDM plan. And so now we'll take a look at some of the things we learned from that. All right. So one of the things that we learned in the plan is that commute option programs are mostly focused on employment hubs. So they focus on where employment density potentially would be, and that's Metro Atlanta. So you see the map here. This is where transit is located, or often miss. I'm sorry. They miss traditionally underserved residential areas. This map shows where the density of transit options are. So and then the next map, this is where the lower to mid-level income jobs are actually located. And you can see the darker areas are, and the majority of these, the darker blue and the really dark blue, are outside of the metro region, where the transit options and more mobility options are located. This also things to consider too is off-peak commuting is more common in traditionally underserved areas, where transit is a concern if people are working late shifts and then they don't have the option because it's not running. All right, next. And then for mobility barriers, things that a lot of you, especially in the workforce development, probably already recognized, that not owning the car, and then transportation expenses. So the cost burden that people experience trying to own a personal car. the lack of access to transit at work or home, so that first and last mile even. And then also information isn't accessible due to language barriers or lack of access. So this is something that the study shows, but then I think we also, within the workforce development space, already sort of recognize with the customers we work with. Okay, and so this slide, it represents the average time of commuting per day, per week, and per year. And when I first saw it, I kind of thought, I feel like it seems a little low. It doesn't seem that horrible. This is the national average. And I think we all know the Atlanta region consistently is one of the worst in the nation for traffic congestion. So it may be a national average, probably does not apply specifically to Atlanta. It's still a lot of time. When you think about 10 days a year is spent commuting, that's a lot of time. And when you're thinking about employees who have spending already, the financial burden of gas and the cost of owning a vehicle on top of that, and then the cost of time. And I think for a lot of us, especially those that marked that the transportation or your commute affected where you chose to work, means a lot. The time means a lot to us. So, all right. And then the last. Okay, and then this slide, this is what we've heard from employees. While it's nice to have data, it's also nice to see what people are actually feeling and saying. And as this group of workforce development and employment experts can attest, we know transportation affects access to jobs, and it keeps people from taking jobs they otherwise would be qualified for and are needed in. And it causes otherwise good employees to lose jobs or not take them. And so here's a few of the things we heard. Employees often feel employers do not offer adequate commute support. Unreliable transportation can mean being late to work, missed shifts, and an inability to continue to access a job. And then complicated, unreliable transportation options will keep workers from applying for or accepting a new job. So we talked about all these things that we know, kind of explained a little bit about GCO, but ultimately, what does that mean? How does GCO actually do anything to support this rather than just, compiling data? And so now we're going to talk about how GCO can support partners, commuters, and employers. So partnerships are critical to creating mobility connections. Working with our community partners like workforce development can help improve job seekers' access to jobs. As we discussed, access to transportation is a major barrier to employment. We know that. Using GCO as a resource for both job seekers and employer customers can help support workforce development's goal to connect talent with opportunity. And GCO not only helps folks connect with alternative commute options that may not have a personal vehicle, but it also provides incentives for those who take a cleaner commute that's putting money back into their pockets. So a new approach GCO has taken in this last year. So in 2024, GCO launched a pilot with Westside Works. And the goal of the pilot was to improve transportation and mobility access for Westside Works customers. As we talked about earlier, we know those served through workforce development programs are likely missed through traditional commute options outreach. And so during the pilot, the team provided staff training on mobility resources and GCO program. We embedded GCO resource information within Westside Works customers' journey. So for instance, GCO is now included in the Westside Works orientation as a resource, provided toolkits to support staff and partners as they talk with customers about mobility challenges as they relate to work, and also offered opportunities for additional support. So these were in the form of transportation boot camps, webinars, and attending job fairs. So Westside Works was just the starting point. GCO is expanding their support to other workforce development programs. Together, we can help people get back to work and feel confident in getting there. So I think we have, was very, very fast. We have another poll. I think this may be the last one. Shayla?
What type of incentive would most encourage you to change your commuting habits? What reward do you think would be the most influential to change your commute from driving alone to taking something else like transit or carpooling? Is it a monetary reward? Is it extra time off? Is it recognition programs, preferred parking for carpooling, meaning a spot up front every day for carpoolers? Or is it a benefit to improve your health by taking a different commute, such as cycling if you can?
So I'm curious to see what we get with this one.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Oh, monetary reward.
Monetary.
Okay. All right. Extra time off.
Of course.
Yeah, agree with all those. And I feel like I would check all the boxes. Okay, so this is good to know because next up, we're actually going to talk about the commuter incentives. All right, I'm going to hand it over to you, Shayla.
All right. So since we've discussed some of the ways that GCO is looking to make an impact with employers, let's briefly discuss how we can support employees and slash commuters. Now, by creating a free account through our mygco.com or the MyGCO app, commuters can find carpool matches or alternative routes to work inside of our platform. The platform is also where you get a number of incentives for those who either switch from driving alone or those who are already taking a clean commute, such as carpool, vanpool, transit, cycling, walking, scootering, or even working from home. Listed here are some of the benefits commuters can earn. Give Me 5 is a nice one. You can earn up to $150 in a 90-day period if you switch from driving alone to one of the clean commutes that we mentioned earlier. You can earn a $25 gift card prize drawing. We do those every month. You submit points. I think it's 20 points that you would earn for every day that you. I'm sorry. Go back. Okay. So you earn points every day that you log your clean commute. So those points can be redeemed to enter our $25 gift card drawing. You can enter as many times as you like. People win those often. We give away many of those every month. Carpool rewards. If you have to have a carpool, of course, 2 or more, and they earn $10 to $20 every month for that carpool. Every participant in that carpool must be registered on the GCO app platform and have an account. We have something that people love called the guaranteed ride home. You get up to 5 free Uber rides for an emergency purpose. So if you were to take a vanpool or a carpool in and you did not drive that day and you had an emergency, you had to pick up the kids from school because one is sick or something like that, God forbid. But if you had an emergency while you're at work and you did not drive in that day, we'll get you an Uber up to 5 times a year for those emergency purposes. When you create an account, you get one automatically on your account when you sign up. And then we have just your average commuter perks program where there is a number of different partnerships we have with retailers and events such as some of the games, Atlanta United. You can get discounts for all types of game tickets. We do retail discounts and a lot of different other cool redeemable rewards you can get for eating and all of those different types of things. So your basic commuter perks program. And again, rewards are redeemed using points earned for each day that you log a clean commute. So that's how the rewards are redeemed. You can go to the next slide, Cherie, I'm sorry. So next, let's review the many ways that GCO supports employers. Every employer has a different need or different interest. Some have parking issues, some have retention issues. So there's not one way, there's no one size fits all solution when we're working with employers. So we really want to get a feel for what it is that they find valuable in the program. And we therefore provide a number of employer resources and services, consultation services. We empower through education. We have marketing materials that talk about carpooling. They talk about the benefits of van pools. We have just standard marketing materials that have QR codes to get people signed up on the app. So we also do webinars and workshops. We do site visits where we come down, bring out swag, and fill up the table with swag and talk directly with employees about their commutes and get them signed up. We do new employee orientations, any of those kinds of things where we can actually interface with employers and interface with their employees to educate them on the program. We have found that, taking a clean commute can enhance your work-life balance. There's less stress when you're not having to sift through traffic every day alone. Improve quality of life. We're putting money back into your pocket as well. Just reducing that stress is a major one. I personally take MARTA in on the days that I'm not working from home, and it not only keeps money in my pocket because I'm not having to spend $20 to park on Mondays, but I also get to soak in some of that sun on that morning. I enjoy the brisk walk down a couple of blocks to my building. And it's just been overall positive experience for a few of us that do take transit in on those Mondays. Personalized planning, we do customize commuter program routes, so we can give each commuter a new route plan, a trip planning consultation. And we also create van pools, carpools, and we work on telework programs as well. So we have a number of resources to build out and implement some of these clean commute programs, which Sunny is going to talk about in a moment. And then, of course, cost savings for the days when you don't have to pay to park. You can split the gas expense. We also do a tax benefits program where employers can see savings on the back end for their FICA if they participate in van pool or discount transit passes. And then the commuters also see a tax benefit on the front end if they are paying out of pocket for van pools, or if they're paying out of pocket for transit. Then we can see some tax savings. All of those expenses will be pre-taxed up to $315 a month. So there's tax savings on both the employer and the employee side. And next, I'm going to kick it over to Sunny to give her spiel on how we've worked with her in the past at the BBB. Anybody else? Thank you.
Thank you, Shayla. Nice to see you here again today. So I did work with Shayla. I had given her a call back in the summer, late summer, early fall of 2023, because we had been working remotely through COVID. And then we decided that we were going to return to the office on a hybrid schedule, 3 days a week. And where our new office, where we moved to come back to work in the office, was about, I think, 12, 24, it was 24 miles north of where our old office was. So we knew that was going to present some challenges for some people. In our downtown office, we had MARTA just come right up to the bottom of the building. So it was very easy for people to have a clean commute and, just stress-free for them. And having to fight that traffic coming up through downtown and all the way up to North Fulton, we just knew that would be a problem for some people, especially ones living way on the outskirts like Jonesboro or Douglasville. So I connected with Georgia Commute Options, and they put me in touch with Commute with Enterprise. So those two agencies worked together with me and my staff to figure out what would be the best options for us. We did a heat map of addresses and looked for common meeting points, and just trying to build those carpool rides. And then Commute with Enterprise said that they could bring us a van pool, that they could allow us to rent these, SUVs that would hold up to 8 people to come in from the different directions. So we decided that we would look into doing 3 of those, from west and east and south. And we checked to see if we had enough participants, and we did. So we looked at the cost that that would save the employees. And actually, we decided that it was worth it to us to retain those employees instead of them leaving because the commute was so long. As a lot of people said, that's a big, that's a major factor in making their decisions about staying at a job, is the commute. So we decided to just go ahead and pick up that entire cost of renting the van, which includes the insurance and the maintenance. And then we also pay for all the fuel for the van. So I was really pleased with how easy it was to set up everything, because Shayla and Jaleesa really worked with us very closely to meet with the employees, make sure they understood what their benefits would be, make sure they understood the responsibilities involved. So it was just really a pretty easy process to get it all set up. And I was looking at the slide that Nicole was showing earlier about people being um, really sensitive to complicated, unreliable transportation. And that was really one of the things that we looked at when we moved our office more north. Even though MARTA comes right near here at North Springs, there's still that last mile, right, of how do you get from the MARTA station to our actual office. And so, again, that was part of why we really decided that the van pool program would work well for us. One more thing I wanted to say was about that poll. The poll asking about what incentive would encourage you for this, for a different transportation model. And the largest response there was monetary, right? So for us to be able to offer this to our employees, that saves them with their vehicles wear and tear, and they're getting new tires and oil changes and things like that. And the gas, gas, I know prices go up and down, but, if you're driving all the way from, let's say, Jonesboro to Alpharetta 3 days a week, week after week, that gas really adds up. So for them to be able to participate in our van pool, I mean, that does save them money. That is a monetary benefit. So I'll stop right there in case there are any questions or specific things that you'd like to know about our program. I think the last thing I really want to say about it is how grateful I am and how grateful our employees are. It really helped so much. It helped several people decide to stay on with the company, because driving this far was really going to make them have to decide if they could stay with us. And us being able to offer the van pool, most of them said, yeah, I'll give it a try. We'll see how it works out. And those that did that have continued to ride. So I'm just really grateful that it's worked out this well.
Shayla, Nicole, Sunny, thank you all so much for sharing with us today about what Georgia Commute Options is, how it provides support to members of our community and to businesses, and Sunny, for sharing your perspective on an employer who's used Georgia Commute Options. I love the testimonials here that you see on this slide from Better Business Bureau employees who really are appreciative of the support and the investment that their employer has made in making their jobs easier. We'll open it up to the audience for a couple of questions. If anyone has any questions, you can drop it in the chat, or use the React button and you can click raise hand if you'd like to come off mute and ask your question out loud. And while we're waiting, just wanted to point out that Brooke did drop in the chat how you can register for a Georgia Commute Options account to take advantage of some of those rewards that Shayla and Nicole were mentioning. And there's links to download on the Apple Store or the Google Play Store. I personally have it downloaded, haven't used it as much as I would like to. And this is a good reminder for me to log my telecommutes and my carpools.
Could I add one more thing, please?
Please do.
You know, even the people who don't participate in our van pool, Shayla came out a couple of times and, you know, and discussed all of the benefits of Georgia Commute Options with our folks. So even if they aren't in the van pool, they're still eligible to earn those points because we do work from home on Monday and Friday. So, you know, that really, again, was a benefit to folks for us working with Georgia Commute Options, because now everyone here can earn those points and, you know, get into those drawings. And it's just, it's been a great partnership.
And I'll just reflect on the conversation that you and I had, Sunny, where you said sort of the unexpected added benefit of the van pooling program was that you had people that work in different teams riding together, being able to talk and create these relationships with one another. And as we all know, even though telecommuting and working virtually are great for flexibility, sometimes there's no substitute for the interaction of being face to face with somebody and the relationships you can build there. So that was sort of a added bonus.
Yes, yes.
Looks like we have, oh, Shayla, go right ahead.
I had a couple of things. Dorma dropped earlier in the chat. I don't know if it was during my portion of the presentation. She mentioned how much money is the question. And I know that that was the top reason why someone would switch their commute. So if she was referring to how much money people can earn from Georgia Commute Options, I wanted to address that since that was a point in the poll. So it really just depends. So if everyone is switching from driving alone to work to taking some clean commute, or even if they're switching from going in to working from home, that's where that $150 comes in. It's paid out in 3 different installments: 25, 50, then 75. And that's within a 90-day period from the day that you sign up for your account. You have 90 days to earn that 150. And then from there, it really just depends on which clean commute you participate in, how much money that you end up earning. If you are logging all of your telework trips, your teleworking days, then you're earning points to put towards some of our other rewards, like the $25 prize reward. And again, you can submit however many, and I think you can do one a day, but you can submit to be in the drawing several times during the month. And so that increases, of course, your chances of being chosen. And then people win that $25 reward. They win that over and over. So it really just depends on what commute you're taking and how often you're logging. And it's really just comes down to just taking advantage of all of the opportunities so that you can maximize the money that you can earn working with Georgia Commute Options. On top of the money that you save from taking the commute, that's putting more money back in your pocket, or sharing that gas expense for taking carpool. It just really depends. And then the other thing I wanted to mention was that we do have what we call modal promotions, where we every quarter we try to promote a clean commute habit and offer money and prizes for that as well. And what we have coming up is Biketober. So every October we do something called Biketober, where we encourage people to cycle. And it's not just for cycling to and from work. You can cycle anywhere, log those trips, and then you're entered to win a number of different prizes, including an electric bike. I think if you register early on Love to Ride, then you you are entered to win up to $1,000 for entering early. So there are other opportunities that, we try to make it fun and, something healthy, something you can do with the family, something that is good for employee engagement if you have people at work who are competitive and want to participate in something. So that's what we have kicking off in October. So I just wanted to mention that.
Perfect. Thank you, Shayla. And it looks like that's exactly what Dorma was looking for. So thanks for adding that. Well, that is all the time we have today for our speakers. Want to say thank you so much. Let's give a round of applause to them. Some reactions in the chat. Thank you all very much for spending your day with us. And now we have some slides to update on the CareerRise end. And if you like what you heard today, I'm not sure how to support. We are also in our fundraising period, which is all the time when you're a nonprofit, but really focusing in on fundraising for the latter half of this year. Encourage you to scan that QR code to give today, be part of our giving campaign, and help us continue the really great work that we're doing here at CareerRise. If you don't have time to scan that QR code, have questions about how you can give or support to the organization, reach out to any member of the CareerRise team. We'd be happy to help you. Then make sure to stay involved with us by attending our webinars, signing up for our email digest, or follow CareerRise on LinkedIn for all the great updates. Our next webinar will be on September 18th, where we are featuring Accenture's playbook for youth programming. And we have updates from partners like First Step Staffing coming up in October. Thank you so much for spending your day with us. We appreciate you. Have a wonderful rest of your week.